The Qur'an says I have to take it. That, like I said, subhanAllah, sometimes some of us may have very little knowledge and they may not be aware of the whole situation or the whole image, and they get easily actually seduced by certain words that they may hear from a person who may... Yes, ya wa alaykum as-salam. I think something has to be switched. Now, too many, mashallah, a lot of high-quality entertainment. Wallahi, if I may ask you to turn off your cell phone, unless you're expecting an emergency, inshallah. You know, mine is turned off, by the way. Let me see, is it? Yes. Now the Prophet ﷺ, of course, what about his guidance? What was his position about his guidance when he was alive? Now, of course, when we're talking about the guidance here, we're talking about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, about things that he did, he said, or he approved of, and some actually other disciplines add to it, you know, the descriptive as well as the biographical as well. Now, during the life of the Prophet ﷺ, to look at a little bit as to how actually the sunnah of the Prophet or the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ was documented. The Prophet ﷺ during his lifetime, he says, لا تكتبوا عني ومن كتب عني غير القرآن فليمحه. The hadith is narrated by Sahih Muslim. That the Prophet says that do not write from me things that you hear from me, anything except the Qur'an. And if you hear anything otherwise, then erase it. Now, why did the Prophet say that, alayhi salatu wasalam? The concern here, yes, the concern that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam had was the Qur'an would be mixed with the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. That's why he was careful that all the focus and the attention was around the purification of the Quranic text more than anything else. That's why the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, though he gave the command for the Sahaba not to write or to document the sunnah or the sayings of the old Prophet ﷺ, he did allow some of the Sahaba to do so. That's why there are, for example, certain things that Ali has written, certain things about Amr ibn al-As and others as well. So even though the Prophet gave the command not to write it, the Prophet did give some exceptions because he was feeling safe that these people that will be writing it will not mix it with the Qur'an. So this prohibition actually had a reason. That's why after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, the effort was to start actually writing and documenting the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ. And also the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba heard the Prophet saying, أَلَا يُبَلِّغْ الشَّاهِدْ مِنْكُمْ الْغَائِبِ, that let the person who's hearing things from me convey it to those that are absent. So this conveying requires for that to be documented. And also the Prophet ﷺ saying, نَضَّرَ اللَّهُ امْرَأً سَمِعَ مَقَالَةٍ فَحَفِظَهَا وَوَعَاهَا فَأَدَّاهَا كَمَا سَمِعَهَا فَرُبَّ مُبَلَّغٍ أَوْ عَنْ سَامِعٍ. That may Allah bless the one who hears something from me and he conveys it as he hears it. As he hears it. So there's the controlling element, because a person who might receive it might benefit from it more than the person who's conveying it. So the Prophet ﷺ was indicating to the Sahaba that his guidance was to be propagated and relayed actually to the future generation. That's why the Sahaba ﷺ started thinking about documenting the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ. You had a question, Abwan?
I was going to ask the prohibition that you mentioned, was that in the Mecca?
What's that?
Was that at the beginning of the Prophet when he prohibited for them to write the same?
No, he mentioned it even afterward, ﷺ. He gave a general command that actually, because the hadith actually was narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, who became Muslim, you know. Now, he gave it as a general command, but like I said, the concern is for the sunnah not to be mixed with the Qur'an. But after his death, the Qur'an was complete already, that's it. So that concern is not there anymore. So everybody knows what the Qur'an is and what is not the Qur'an. That's why now the Sahaba started thinking of documenting the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, especially after the fabrication started appearing. And the fabrication started appearing, you know, especially at the time of the fitna, where you find some people, by the way, on both sides, in a way to show the greatness of the people that they like, fabricating certain hadith that have no basis. For example, one of these sayings is that the Prophet ﷺ said, the Prophet never said that. They said that anyone who wants to see Adam in his knowledge, and Nuh in his piety, and Ibrahim in his patience, and Musa in his charisma, and Isa in his worship, let him look at Ali. يعني as if Ali had, more than all the other prophets, alayhi salatu wassalam. This is a fabricated hadith, And on the other side, the people that support Abu Bakr alayhi ridwanillah, to the extreme, also fabricated other hadith. One of them, for example, saying that each leaf in Al-Jannah has the name of the Prophet of Allah and that of Abu Bakr written on it, which is also fabricated. Or somebody, for example, who will hate Muawiyah, they will say, if you see Muawiyah standing on my minbar, then kill him. They said that the Prophet said that. Of course, the Prophet never said that, alayhi salatu wasalam. Of course, on the other side, somebody will say that the trustworthy ones are three. Allah, Jibreel, that Muhammad, Jibreel, and Muawiyah. Yeah, subhanAllah, this is also fabricated. And sometimes people may have certain business, of course, to promote. Like one of the hadith says, a person who had apparently, who was into buying and selling vegetables, and he had a surplus of eggplants specifically. So he says that eggplants is a cure from every sickness. That's a fabricated hadith. And sometimes, subhanAllah, some of these exaggerated, hadith as well, they have their appeal to the people. Actually, not long ago, somebody, may Allah reward them, sent me an email. They're trying to share something nice with me. And they said, this is a great dua. Make sure that you repeat it. And it is called the dua of the 360. 360. What's the dua of the 360? If you say this dua, the explanation goes, it says, as the Prophet said, where I don't know, it says, as the Prophet says, if you say this dua, you'll have the reward of 360 khatm al-Qur'an. And you'll have the reward of 360 hajj. You'll have the reward of releasing 360 slaves. And it goes on and on. Slow down. This is all fabricated. The greatest words are the words of Allah. The greatest surah of the Qur'an is Surah Al-Ikhlas. And the Prophet ﷺ says Surah Qul Huwallahu Ahad, that is equivalent to 1/3 of the Qur'an. So the Surah Qul Huwallahu Ahad is 1/3. This dua is 360 Qur'an. SubhanAllah. Fabricated. And there's a strange thing among the people that they like anything that's really super weighty, something. Or if you say this dua, there'll be 70,000 birds who will carry it. Each bird will have 70,000 something. And it goes on and on and on. All of these are fabricated. And of course it says at the end you have to send it to so many people. If you do not, something bad will happen. And the problem is that I end up receiving the same copy from everybody. Because everybody buys into these things. SubhanAllah, these things have their appeal to the people. There's a funny story that says that a person by the name of Ahmad, the gate or the key keeper of the Kaaba, his name is Ahmad. He keeps the keys to the Kaaba, that he saw a dream that tell the people if you do not do that, and then it goes on into some big calamity will happen. And was reading actually something that Sheikh Muhammad Rashid Rida, about 100 years ago, he mentioned the same story. He said that people actually are circulating a fabricated story, and he mentioned that. And the same story is coming back again, as if this Ahmad never dies. SubhanAllah, the story keeps coming back. He's still alive, and he still sees those same dreams. But subhanAllah, at the same time, you find that certain authentic ahadith may not have as much appeal. When the Prophet ﷺ says two words, light on the tongue, heavy on the scale, beloved to Allah, subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah al-azim. Alhamdulillah, this is a good expression. But the 360 has more appeal to it. And fabricated ahadith comes, subhanAllah, circulate like nothing else. At that time when that started happening, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought some scholars and started purifying the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. That's why one of the great tabi'in, his name is Ibn Sirin, he says that we used to take the words of the Prophet as they are, and then people started fabricating a hadith. Then we started asking people to mention their narrators, to verify whether it's something really authentic or not. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like I said, brought some scholars that purified the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So you have the generation of the tabi'in started with that, and actually developing it further into the generation of Malik ibn Anas alayhi, who compiled al-Muwatta, his great book al-Muwatta, which included the sayings of the Prophet as well as mixed with the sayings of the Sahaba alayhi. But that discipline kept on developing and evolving and getting better and better until the next generation, that of Ahmad ibn Hanbal alayhi and Yahya ibn Ma'in and the others, which took it a step further into actually circulating or into screening it further until they established the authenticity of the sayings. And then afterward they reached to speak by the Imam al-Bukhari and his student Imam Muslim. Until we ended up with a final product that you can say conclusively that this was said by the Prophet ﷺ. You know, whenever we say this is muttafaq alayh, what does it mean? Agreed upon. What does it mean? That it's authentic by Bukhari and Muslim. Some scholars, they say that when you say muttafaq alayh, now it means something in addition to that, which is agreed upon in authenticity by the whole scholars and the whole ummah afterward. That's why it is not only Bukhari and Muslim, because everyone that studied Bukhari and Muslim added in a way his authentication stamp to the work of Bukhari and Muslim. So it is not only Bukhari, but it's everyone that studied Bukhari afterward and established further its authenticity. And subhanAllah, they were so strict about accepting or what they would accept. And they would study, for example, one of the things that they would do, of course, you know, the requirement of the authentic ahadith, of the authenticity of a certain hadith are mainly five. First, to name the people, and the continuation of the chain, the trustworthiness and the ability to recall, and after that the hadith should not have any shudud or illa, anything that's unusual, or certain quality that the expert will be able to tell. But subhanAllah, that the scholars, whenever they were, you know, when you're talking about a hadith, you're talking about two parts. You're talking about the text. Like for example, you know, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. This is the part of the text. This is called al-matn. And there's the sanad or al-isnad, which is the chain of narrators, like عن عقبة, عن نافع, عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنه. And the scholars will study both parts. When you're talking about a hadith, that includes both parts. And they will study each person in the chain, and they will establish his credibility, so to speak, as his character as well as his ability to recall. And they were not concerned about slandering someone, so to speak, because their concern is the bigger. You know, normally when dealing with people, you give your brothers and your sisters the benefit of the doubt. But whenever the scholars study the narrators, they would not give people the benefit of the doubt. They would go to the other extreme. That's why they asked once Yahya ibn Ma'in that, you know, you're saying some bad things about this person who supposedly narrated one of the hadith or in the chain. Aren't you afraid that he will be your litigant on the day of judgment? That on the day of judgment he'll be facing you. And he says it is better him than the Prophet ﷺ. He's not doing it just for the purpose of slandering the person. He's doing it for the purpose actually of purifying the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And sometimes they will go to some extreme. That's why they mentioned the story about the Bukhari, that once he went to Egypt, they told him that there was that person over there who has this great hadith. So he traveled to Egypt just to get that hadith. And when he went to see that person, he found that this person had a camel that has gone astray. So he was that person trying to bring the camel back. So what he did, you know, he gathered his garment, whatever he's wearing, like this, as if he has some kind of he has some grass to lure the camel back. And he had nothing. When Imam Bukhari saw that, he says, no, this person is a liar. I cannot take anything from him. SubhanAllah, he's lying to a camel. But that's how strict they were. That's why they rejected certain sayings that may have actually been said by the Prophet ﷺ just to be on the safe side. Until they gave us this final product that has nothing equivalent to it. That's why subhanAllah, sometimes we are called the ummah of the Prophet Muhammad is called the ummah of the sanad, the ummah of the chain of narrators. You will not find that in any other nation, any other ummah, where the actual incidents and the sayings are documented back to their origin. So you will have this story, for example. Well, this story came from this person, from that person, all the way to actually the source of that information. You will not have that with any other nation. That's why the Islamic history is the most authentic of any histories available. Because you will not find anyone that documents like that all the way down to the source and study the chains. And like I said, subhanAllah, they said about Ahmad ibn Hanbal that before his death, see, his musnad is about 30,000 hadith. He gave it to his son Abdullah and he said to him that take this from me because I have selected this from among 750,000 hadith. So he took 750,000 hadith and he screened them and studied the chain of narrators until at the end he came up with those few ahadith. That's why subhanAllah, it's a monumental effort. There's a story mentioned about Ahmad ibn Hanbal once. he was sitting in the masjid with Yahya ibn Ma'in, a great scholar in the field of al-jarh wa ta'deel, the one that studies the authenticity or the credibility of the narrators. That they were both sitting in the masjid, and here stands up, somebody stands up and he says, I was